Wow Factor Radio. I am your host, Chris Garrett, and my guest today is TJ Summerfield of Core Dressage. Thank you for joining me today, TJ.
Hey, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing great. I hear you're going to be at the Rocky Mountain Horse Expo this year, which this year is going to be March 11, 12, and 13 at the National Western Complex in Denver, Colorado. And I know you are a dressage rider. I know you've competed 2 Grand Prix, and you have recently gotten much more involved in the classical equitation art of dressage. But you have a specialty that a lot of people don't know about and that is rather unique, and that is costuming for exhibition. And I would like to talk a little bit about your writing, about your website, but also how you got started in costuming. So tell us a bit about you.
Well, I love costuming. I think it stems from my love of Halloween and always getting to dress up and be something you're not for a day. So in costume with my horse, because I love doing things with my horse too, was something I always wanted to do. So I just started making fantasy costumes for freestyles for my dressage competitions, and that kind of expanded into doing it for the exhibition arena, which kind of got crazy because we did a sword fight last year with the dragon and the unicorn costume. So I think that people really get into that kind of thing because it's playful and fun.
Now, I've seen you in a number of your absolutely fabulous costumes, and I have to tell you, your dragon that you wore at the main event last year is absolutely my favorite that you've ever made. What on earth is that made out of?
So that's made out of fun foam. That's thin foam that you can get at the craft store that you can make little kid projects out of. You glue it together. You can paint it. You can. I obviously cut it in a bunch of different shapes and glued it together to make the dragon outfit for the head of the horse. But yeah, it's just fun foam that got glued together and painted.
It looks like metal, but it isn't. It's amazing the way you're able to take something flat like foam and make it into all those shapes. How do you do that?
Well, we start with the basic idea, and then the pattern gets developed. The easiest way to develop the patterns is to shape it around some kind of form. If you did it for a person, you'd use like a dress form. On the horse, sometimes it's hard. We normally cut out the paper and kind of tape it together and then just drape it across the horse and see if it fits. And you kind of mark on it with a pencil the places where you need to cut if it didn't fit on your horse. And then from there, we take the paper pattern, you cut it out of the foam, and you just glue everything together.
Interesting. So if I had an idea, or say I was looking for an idea for a wild costume for a freestyle, where do I start? How would I find an idea, and then how would I make that into a costume?
The best places for ideas are like when you go to the movies or when you're at home watching like Game of Thrones on TV. If you see any of those costumes and you're like, oh, I'd really love to ride in that costume, look for those pictures online. You look up the character. There's normally tons of like still shots online. So you can start figuring out what parts of the costume you need to make. Do you need to sew something for yourself? Do you need to create the chamfron or the petrol for the horse? And what you're going to make it out of. Normally for horses, we like to make things out of soft items like cloth or the foam so that if they were to bump into something wearing the costume, they wouldn't get hurt. So you kind of have to plan out what you're going to make it out of once you have your idea.
Well, one of the things I do want people to know is sometimes some of your costumes actually look like metal armor, and they are still soft foam. They're just painted with metallic paint. So don't let an idea think, oh, that might be too heavy or too dangerous. Don't let that stop you, because you don't have to make it out of metal to make it look like metal. And I think that's what's been so fun with your dragon costume and some of the things that I've seen you make out of with a gold metal paint or silver metal paint that makes it actually look like it is metal.
Yeah, it's really, the faux finishes are really popular for like painting your house walls. You can use those same things on foam. It will take any kind of paint you want to put on it. It's really great stuff. So you can finish it smooth and make it shiny like it's metal, or you can leave it matte. Pretty much anything you want to put on it, you can put on it. It's great stuff.
So if I wanted to do this, what kind of skills would I need to know before I started? Do I have to be a seamstress or?
No, I would say it's helpful if you at least know how to turn on your sewing machine. But after that, pretty much any pattern that you would get a hold of that's commercially available, all of those things come with really good instructions. And frequently nowadays they even have YouTube videos to go along with it, like step by step. This is how you put everything together for each of the patterns that you can buy. So you go online and you look up your pattern number, and bam, there's your step-by-step video tutorial of how to sew everything together. So it's really become very, very easy to put something together, even if you don't sew regularly, which I don't. But hey, I've made 3 coats now because I followed this pattern, and when I got stuck, I found an online tutorial of somebody else who had made the same pattern, and I managed to finish the coat that I was working on. So there's always somebody to help you if you get stuck with something like that. So it's nice if you could sew a little bit, but I mean the rest of it's just gluing stuff together and a lot of painting and just kind of seeing what works for your horse, what they'll allow you to put on them. Some horses, they don't care if you put things on their heads, like the dragon skull, for example. But I can only use that on one horse because my other horse absolutely hates it. So it's just kind of trial and error. But yeah, if you can sew, that's probably the most useful skill going into costuming, just because we use so much fabric and everything because it's soft.
So when you say you're gluing things together, like gluing together the foam, how do you do that? What kind of glue do you use?
You can use barge, which is contact cement, or most people just use a hot glue gun, like a hot glue gun for crafting. Most people have one in their house already.
Yeah, and they're not expensive. I think you can get a craft glue gun for less than $10, so they're very inexpensive. And
yeah.
I know I've seen you use one before, and it's been amazing how fast you can glue things together because it cools fast and it'll even fill in holes and cracks and things. You just fill it with glue. So, yeah, I like that. Now, I know you've made a lot of costumes. What kind of costumes have you made, and have you made them for other people?
I did the costumes for both of the groups I was in last year in the main event. So the Garoja Act, I did the 3 costumes that we rode in for that. And I also did the unicorn that was fighting the dragon. So those were actually the first costumes I had made for other people. I've done probably 20 of my own, just the various things. The samurai, we did the musketeer 10 years ago. I think that was the very first one that I did, like from the 3 Musketeers. And then we've done the samurai. We did King Arthur and Queen Guinevere one year. We did the dragon last year, which was a great success. So just getting bigger and better every year.
So at the expo, for our folks who are going to be coming to the expo who want to learn how to make costumes, will they have a chance to actually make something at the expo?
Yes. So we're looking at having everybody make some kind of headpiece, be it a crown or a helmet or some kind of head ornamentation, as well as being able to make some bracers for their arms so they can have some wearable pieces to take home.
So look for TJ Summerfield on the expo schedule, and she will have an area in the Hall of Education where you can come to the expo, learn how to build costumes out of foam and material, and you can stay all day and build costumes. Is that correct?
That is correct. We'll have paint and hot glue guns, and you can sit there and make a helmet for yourself and maybe even a chamfron for your horse.
One of my favorite things that you made is a helmet from Lord of the Rings, an elfin helmet. And one of the guys in the dragon unicorn fight, one of the knights, the Gold Knight, wore that, and that was really, really cool. I love that helmet. Well, TJ, I really appreciate you letting us know what it is you're going to be doing at the expo this year, and I'm really looking forward to coming by and making something for me. I just love this stuff. It's so much fun. So if you would like to make a costume with TJ Summerfield, do check her out on the expo schedule, and you can reach TJ through her website, which is coredressage.com. That's www.coredressage.com. CORE, dressage.com.
Please join us. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you March 11, 12, 13 at the National Western Events Center in the Hall of Education, second floor, and come build some costumes.
See you there.
All right, we'll talk to you then. And thank you for joining us today on the Wow Factor Radio. Join us again next week for a brand new show. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.